thank you so much to everybody who is supporting me on Patreon. Your generosity and support is greatly appreciated. I love you all so much. If you like what I do and want to support me in a more personal way, then consider joining my Patreon page today. There will be a link at the top of the description. Hello and welcome to a showcase video for the Triton LEGO Railway Layout. This is segment number 6, the third and final part of the goods yard. Just like how the other two segments had some miscellaneous structures along the outside of the layout, this also has some just decorational pieces and of course some more miscellaneous structures just to break up that boring look. There could be loads more to add along here, of course there's plenty of space for it, but at the moment this is all I can really shout the bricks for. Each part of the goods yard kind of had a main thing going for it. The first segment had a sort of oil silo and a staff room. The second one housed the gantry crane, and this segment has narrow gauge introduced. Now, I was going to play around with the narrow gauge idea, and whilst I actually did, this is basically the best I could do, which is a basic line just going up to this transition platform, which is kind of simple in my opinion, but at least it's something, and I'm actually quite pleased with how this looks overall. Now, I call this a transition platform because this is more freight related than a passenger platform. And this took a while to design because with how it looked in my head, the end result is kind of there. So this is connected to the main narrow gauge line and the passing loop. The siding became its own thing, and I thought I'd go all the way and make it a super long passing loop, which I think actually looks really good. Took a lot of pieces, but hey, we got there. So the platform itself has 2 layers to it. Now this is of course to accommodate the larger gauge and the narrow gauge. It's a bit difficult to get exact details in because I haven't really made any rolling stock that have sort of opening doors. At least open wagons. I do have a few box vans for the main side, but nothing for narrow gauge, or at least not yet. A lot of masonry bricks were used here, but that's not a problem because there is a Lego store near me and I can get loads more thanks to Pick a Brick. And there is a small staircase which leads from the higher platform to the lower platform. The idea here was to have them manually brought out of the trucks. You go down the little staircase and you go to the narrow gauge line. In my mind I thought it was pretty cool, but at the same time I didn't really think too much further than that. Nonetheless, I think it looked quite nice. The narrow gauge track itself is 3D printed from Trix bricks. I made a nice big order and got a fair whack of pieces, and this is 7 pieces used up here. Now, I'm going to have to buy some more because eventually I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to interpret this to the sort of main narrow gauge loop. This is just a nice little extra piece, but for now, the narrow gauge loop is going to be somewhere much further down the line. I have no idea how I'm going to build it, but eventually we'll get there. And there we go for this showcase video. This was segment number 6, the third and final part of the goods yard. I do not see this expanding any further for any reason. I might add some more details in here and there across the 3 segments, but for now, this is plenty long enough. Now, as I said in the other 2 videos as well, the goods yard looks so much better when it's all been put together. And the next video to go out will be just that. It's about 2 minutes long, and I'm going to have to mess around with the audio a little bit because, there were some complications at the time of making that video. But nonetheless, I hope you will enjoy. Thank you to all of my patrons for supporting me over on Patreon. Your donations mean so much to me, and it's genuinely so amazing every single time I wake up and look to YouTube and look to Patreon that I see that people support what I do and want to see me succeed. It's just incredible. If you want to support me on Patreon, there will be a link at the top of the description. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.